New year, new housing market outlook in New Braunfels. I mean, things are getting better, right? My honest housing market predictions for New Braunfels in today's video, plus the best time of the year to sell your house in New Braunfels in 2026. If you are new here to my channel, thanks for coming aboard, because every week we're putting out timely and relevant information just like this about what it's like to live in New Braunfels. How we ended 2025 in the New Braunfels housing market gives us just a little bit more hope in 2026, but don't book your flight to New Braunfels yet until after you watch today's video. This is all data-based information backed by some actual real-life closed sales with our sellers and buyers. So I'm giving you both right now what to expect in the New Braunfels housing market in 2026 and what is the best time of the year to sell your home in New Braunfels in 2026. First, the data. In city limits, we ended 2025 the same way we came in. Median home prices in city limits 78130 are up year over year in the combined market, that is new construction and existing homes. Now, when you divide those two markets, new construction sales are up year over year. Same with existing homes, which is a bit of a surprise because existing home sales in New Braunfels have taken a pounding the last 3 years in city limits because of all the new homes being built in New Braunfels and all the incentives and discounts buyers are taking advantage of with the new homes. Half our client families in 2025, in fact, took advantage of new construction home rate buy downs and closing cost credits in New Braunfels, Austin, and San Antonio. Now, because of all the homes being built and less buyer demand than 2021 and 2022, inventory also crept up in city limits year over year. More homes, more choices for buyers, and a lot more negotiating going on in 2025, as we found out with our client families purchasing existing homes in New Braunfels. The shoe was clearly on the buyer's foot in 2025 with more negotiating power compared to the COVID years when sellers could basically name their price. Let's look at the final 2025 numbers for the New Braunfels Hill Country housing market. Same pattern. Median home prices increased year over year to start the year and end the year. Inventory is 4.2 months, a little bit lower when you combine existing and new construction homes, but when you separate just the existing homes inventory is 7.3 months. Again, existing homes median prices are softened by builder incentives and discounts in Hill Country too. New Braunfels builders will continue to offer incentives and discounts in 2026 until there's a need not to offer incentives and discounts. Which brings us to my honest predictions about the New Braunfels housing market in 2026. And we will need new builders, new home builders in New Braunfels to continue offering those incentives and discounts, because I don't see mortgage rates coming down to the point where we see a flood of families purchasing homes in New Braunfels like they did in 2021 and 2022. Inflation was lower in December, that's good news, down to 2.7%, but that was after 2 months of no data because of the government shutdown. Fewer people working typically means fewer people spending money. So I'm a little bit skeptical of the 2.7% inflation right now, especially when the Fed's target rate is 2%. However arbitrary a number you might see that, we're still not there yet. Plus, credit card balances are still at record levels. Car loans, debt slowed there, but it's still an issue. Housing is a huge part of the inflation number. As of the latest inflation report, housing costs are still rising across the country on average. Now, the rate of increase has slowed, so that's better news. You may be saying, Rod, you're so full of it, man. The president, Rod's going to hire a new Fed chairman. To which I say, and? There's 12 voting members on the Federal Reserve, not one or two. For all these reasons, I see mortgage rates in 2026 in the mid-5s to upper 5s, which is definitely an improvement from the last 2 or 3 years, but it's not the 2s and 3s and 4s that we were all kind of bathing and lathering in a few years ago. All right, so how to navigate all of this if you plan on selling your house in New Braunfels in 2026. We're gonna take our playbook from 2025 and previous years and give you the winning plays. I'm going to tell you this right off the bat because it's very important. If you purchased a house in New Braunfels the last 1 to 3 years and you plan on selling in 2026, you're probably going to lose money on your home because you're trying to sell in what has been a declining market, which means you don't have enough equity yet. We're not at the point yet in New Braunfels where the housing market is going to reward you for shorter stays. Only longevity. Real estate is a long play. In 2025, we had 2 client families feel the pain of shorter stays. Each family bought a short time ago and had to sell a short time later, and each family, unfortunately, took a financial hit on their home. The flip side of that coin, we had sellers who purchased several years ago and sold for a profit in 2025. they had built enough equity because they purchased before the pandemic. All right, the best time to sell your house in New Braunfels in 2026. You definitely want to put yourself in position where you have the greatest number of buyers in New Braunfels actively looking at homes. For us, in our experience, that's March and April before the onslaught of homes hit the market. In May and March and April, you have families, many school families needing to wrap up their next home before the next school year. And in March and April, you have spring break, so you have more buyers looking at homes in New Braunfels during these months. So buyer behavior really dictates the time to sell if you have that flexibility of time. Plus, it's warmer in New Braunfels in March and April. When the sun comes out, people come out. And the curb appeal is much better during this month. So all of these things can is the operative word, lead to a faster sale. If you have the luxury of time, then end of March or April after Easter is one of the best times to list your homes for sale in New Braunfels. If you don't have the luxury of time, sell when you have to sell. We have 2 listings coming up in New Braunfels where the sellers have until August to sell and move. So we'll list those homes in April after Easter so we don't lose that momentum leading up to Easter. Another family must move before spring, so we'll list their home in January. We have investors looking for another investment property in New Braunfels. Less time sensitive there, but you still want to consider the timing of those incentives and discounts and the pros and cons of investing in a particular area. Whether you're flexible with your time or not, you still have to follow. You must follow the #1 rule as a seller, especially with where mortgage rates are at today and where I predict they're going to be in 2026. It doesn't matter when you bought your home. Doesn't matter. A year ago, 10 years ago, 7, 18 years ago, 20 years ago, you still must price your home accurately from the very beginning. That means at or below market value. That does not mean what you think your house is worth. We all think our homes are worth $3, $4 million. And it's not. The banks are going to tell us otherwise. And it doesn't matter what the house sitting on the market is selling for. It's not sold. It's not a comp. And it doesn't matter what Zillow says. It doesn't. I know. You're having a hard time with this. Zillow doesn't come into your house to assess your home or the conditions or the upgrades. So Zillow is not going to know the true value. The buyers will tell you the true value of your home. Take a look at the data. Price decreases still rule the New Braunfels housing market. If you're trying to avoid a financial hit on a home you bought relatively recently, it's likely not going to end well for you. You hoping something different will happen hope is not a strategy. We're never going to take on a listing where the seller wants to list the home above the sold comps, which means we walk away from listings because we're not there to list the house, we're there to sell the house. 90% of marketing is getting the price right from the start. You thought it was open houses. You thought it was making videos and having agents jump into pools. It's not. 90% of marketing is getting the price right from the start. That's at or below market value. Our New Year resolution for 2026 is just to continue to be what we've been, and that's being transparent about what it's like to live in New Braunfels and what the housing market is like here in New Braunfels. We are not the Chamber of Commerce. There's other YouTube channels for that. We're not here to sell you. We're here to tell you. And trust is one of the most sacred traits we can earn from you. Transparency is how we get there. If that approach works for you and you're looking to buy a house in New Braunfels or sell your house in New Braunfels, either one of those, of course, I would love to be your real estate resource of choice. You can email me, you can call me, or you can shoot me a text. As always, thank you so much for coming to and watching our videos every week, and we'll see you on the next one. Happy 2026.